microphone for the softening. This is how I live till they end up in my coffin.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Top Report. I'm Ronan Torrence. You know me as the editor of Red Top Report, and today I'm hosting. So this is your favorite segment, JQ with the B, Just Questions with Dr. William Mahoney. Doctor.
Hi, nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So
you're welcome.
Let's get into the first question here. First one, how can parents protect their children from the strong influence that the LGBTQ have in college? Catholic colleges even promote such diabolical behavior.
Wow. So there's a mixture here of questions.
A little bit.
There's a few. There's some that touch on theology, and then some touch on parenting and being parents. So my answer is somewhere between principles from theology and my opinion, because I can't tell people. I don't have children myself. I'm a canceled seminarian, so
sure,
yeah. But so I have to. I can only give my opinion. Although I've watched my sisters. I've helped. I don't know help, but I've been present when my nieces and nephews have been being reared by my sisters, and I've certainly voiced my opinions to them. And on some of them fly, others don't, and that's great because they're not my kids.
Yeah.
But anyway, first of all, there's the Catholic schools that promote or encourage LGBTQ plus activity. I always struggle with that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister,
alphabet soup.
Alphabet soup.
And they keep adding to it and changing it, and the flag's gone through about 50 permutations. Yeah. Anyway, but I digress. A Catholic university that's supporting how are they Catholic, really? That's the question. Once you're having drag queen shows and the LGBT, the club and all of these things, how are you Catholic?
Yeah, you're Catholic in name only, right?
Sure. Yeah. I understand as far as bringing in students, not discriminating against anybody. I understand that. So if someone says that he's struggling with same-sex attraction or flat out whatever, I understand not discriminating against that. That's another thing, especially since a lot of these colleges get money from the government. So that, I'm sorry, but if the government's paying, then you do their bidding.
Yeah, you got to please Uncle Sam.
Right.
They're giving you the money.
So I do. So I understand that to an extent. But once the school itself actually starts promoting it, having clubs, having drag queen shows, and this and that, how are you Catholic anymore? I don't understand.
Yeah.
For example, with homosexuality, the church couldn't be clearer. It's in scripture. It's in tradition. It's never been contradicted. It's abundantly clear. Not the person struggling with the same-sex attraction. That's completely different. The one who acts on it, and then the one who embraces it as a lifestyle and calls it pride. St. Paul in two places gives lists of those who will not enter the kingdom, and two of them he uses in one place the word arsynkoites in Greek, and in another place he uses the word malakos. So the first word, arsynkoites, arsyn's a man, koites is coitus. So to be a little bit brutal and blunt, that's the giver in the homosexual act. Malakos means soft, and it's the receiver in the homosexual act. So he makes it clear in multiple places that, however, if you engage in this activity, you're not going to enter the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah. And
all the eisegesis in the world, because exegesis is to take from the text what it says, and eisegesis is to put your own meaning into it. All the eisegesis in the world is not going to change what it says. It says what it says. The church has always interpreted it that way, and so on. The Catechism, of course, does say that we must be compassionate and loving towards people struggling with that, of course, but that's because we're all sinners and we're all struggling with sin. So we have to be compassionate to all of us.
Right.
But we can't encourage the sin. We have to try to help people give up sin, and so they can go to heaven. Yeah, this was very simple.
Yeah,
and at the second the Catholic school is encouraging it, you're encouraging a sin which we know keeps you from heaven. How are you even Catholic at that point? Yeah. No more should they be encouraging hookup culture or premarital sex or any of that stuff.
Yeah, no, totally.
They shouldn't have anything. That should be very clear that that's just not part of.
So do you think then, Mahoney, that maybe shouldn't send your children to college, or should you? I mean, because this is kind of the big. This is where this is
so
going.
now the
This is where
second part of the question.
This is where this question
I
is
give my
going.
opinion.
Yeah, this is where, in your
Yeah.
opinion, I mean,
Yeah.
I know I dropped out of community college. I was like, college wasn't really for me. School wasn't really for me. But I know for other people who might be pursuing. I know you yourself have spent quite a bit of time in school.
Too much, I'm afraid.
Well, I would tend to agree, but I mean, hey, that's all you, man. But
So I give my opinion here.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
I think that a school, like anything else, is a business. Okay.
Yeah.
They make money. That's what they do. They make your money. You go there. They get government money. They get grants. They get your money from tuition. It is primarily a business, and that has become more and more the case. Originally, the university was a place of higher learning when it was first came onto the scene in Europe, which it was a Catholic thing. It was for a place of higher learning. It wasn't expected that everybody go to this place of higher learning, just some. But as a business in America, and we excel at businesses, it's really, really a business, and they've sold everyone this idea that you have to go to college or somehow you're just like, I don't know, you're not, you'll never get a job and this and that.
And that's just not true.
It's just not true.
Yeah.
And in fact, we need people to do, trades. I mean,
we do.
You need plumbers, and you need garbage men, and you need baristas, and you need
and you'll probably end up
this.
making more money than your colleagues
Yeah.
who Facebook's laying people off, Twitter. I mean, Amazon's laying people off for the first time like ever right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the cold hard reality of education, massive education versus making money hit me when one time I was bartending. So at that time I had not finished my doctorate, but I was, I had a bunch of degrees already, and I was working toward a doctorate, and I bartended for a while, and I was pulling in bank. I was serving drinks, and I made tons of money doing that. It blew my mind. I'm like, all I'm doing is pouring beers for you.
Yeah.
But you can make a very healthy living doing that. My grandfather, after whom I'm named, he bartended. And I don't know that he had much past a high school education. He did fine, and he took care of his family. Same with my other grandfather. He was never even finished 8th grade, and he did fine. He worked for the phone company. You do not need to go to college to make money. That's this idea that people have to get out of their heads. And if someone doesn't want to study like in college, like you, and wants to learn a trade or do something else, you can.
Yeah,
you might not be able to get every job because they like to see college on the resume, but so what? So start with that, and then you have to decide, I guess, with your kids, how hardcore do you want to be? Do you want to make sure they go to a good school, like one of the few remaining actually Catholic schools in the country, or do you want to encourage them to look into trades or anything else? Or whatever else, you have to weigh those things.
Real quick, Mahoney, as you're wrapping up, we're airing this video on the feast of St. Lucy and her feast day. So could you tell? I don't really know that much about her. Could you maybe give us some insight on
Sure.
her?
Nobody knows that much about her because she's kind of lost in history. But no, we know something for sure. St. Lucy. This is what we know for sure. St. Lucy was a young woman. St. Lucy was martyred under Diocletian sometime in the early part of the 4th century, most say around 304 AD. That much is clear. She is in the Roman canon, so that's enormous. There are some women mentioned in the Roman canon. Her, Cecilia, Agatha, Lucy is one of them. So she's mentioned in the Roman canon, which means she was very well known to the early church and made it. And many people were praying to her and going to her. After that, a lot of it is different legends pop up, and they don't always go, and sometimes they contradict each other.
Right.
So that happens. But there are some things that seem to have stood the test of time. So one is that she wanted to be a virgin for Christ. Her mother wanted her to marry. She convinced her mother that Christ was the best husband, and the mother agreed with that. But however, the person they had set up to marry her, the bridegroom, didn't like that. So he went to the governor, and after that she was persecuted. And then there's different stories about her persecution. Some say that they tried to pull her out by force, even with a team of oxen,
Yeah.
but they couldn't. She wouldn't move. Then they tried
Wow.
to burn her, and she wouldn't burn. And then finally, they stabbed her with swords, and she was martyred. That who knows? I mean, maybe why not? And then there's she's the patron saint of the blind, and there's also some stories about her losing her eyes and then regaining her eyes
Wow.
back. And some of those are, this is where there's some, it's not quite clear. Some are that the governor was so angry at her, he plucked her eyes out. Another is that she took her own eyes out. That story is not quite clear, but there definitely seems to be something involving her eyes, and the church recognizes her as the patron of the blind.
Very cool. Well, Dr. William Mahoney, thank you very much for coming on today. So it's
You're
always
very
an
welcome.
honor and a pleasure to have you.
No,
So,
thank you so much.
Yeah. Everybody, that's going to be it for today. Make sure you like this video, subscribe. You're going to do it. You're going to like this video and you're going to subscribe. That's what you're going to do. So, Red Top Report, everybody.